Hello, this is Chandrasekar welcoming you to another delightful part of our South Asian programming. Today on Asian Horizon, we are delighted to present an outstanding personality from the Indian subcontinent, a man who has made some exciting motion pictures and has become international in stature. None other than one of the most popular film producers and directors from the Indian subcontinent, Mr. Maniratnam. Welcome to the program, Mani.
Thank you.
And my hearty congratulations to you. You know, many of your films have won awards not only in India, but in other parts of the world. And they have entered many leading film festivals around the world. And we are delighted to welcome you to Toronto, especially your films have been entered in the Toronto Film Festival.
There are 4 films in the festival. It is this, what they call as a tribute. I was just telling the other day that normally when they have a tribute, it's for somebody who has done enough films and who is ready to retire. So I'm wondering whether they're giving me a hint.
No, not at all.
But I've decided that I'm not going to take the hint. So.
Action!
You have always been in the driver's seat as a director. Tell us about the key thing to success.
No, it's been like this, you know, the commercial filmmakers treat you like your art filmmaker and they push you aside. The art film, serious filmmakers think you make commercial films, so you're caught in between, I guess. But it's not really true that I've been in the driver's seat, you know. I've done 12 films so far. The first half was disaster, I think, you know. The first 4 films failed, and only after that I've been able to make some kind of an impact, some kind of success. So, just about middling, I think.
First major hit of yours was Mouna Ragam, am I correct?
That Nayakan was the next film.
Oh, Nayakan was a classic. Now, Nayakan was sort of an offshoot of The Godfather type in terms of the Indian subcontinent, but you very comfortably, nicely, converted that to the local culture down there.
Well, the film was not just about a hero who's fighting corruption. That was not, I think, what we aimed at. It was trying to portray a conflict between 2 kinds of thinking. A person who has been in circumstances, who has taken to crime with his own justifications to it, and countered against another person, in this case his own daughter, who thinks that whatever the end is doesn't justify the means. It is just this conflict between these 2 approaches that the film was trying to portray.
I noticed that you attach a lot of importance to re-recording in a film. You know, your music director is in tune with you all the time. The importance of re-recording in a film, tell me about it.
I think background score for a film really underlines what has to be highlighted in the film on the audio track. And when you're making a feature film which takes in with it, you know, a lot of silence and a lot of moods that have to be created. Music accentuates what has been done visually through lighting, through performance and other things, and it sort of sets the rhythm with which you made the film.
It's interesting, you know, because particularly in Thiruda Thiruda, I'm going to show a scene here, just for the benefit of viewers. We're going to take a little sequence right now in this film called Thiruda Thiruda. Purposely, we're cutting the audio track out. There is no re-recording right now. We want you to watch it, and we will discuss it with Mani, and we'll come back and we'll show you the difference in terms of the director's touches and the music director's input. Let's take a look at the scene, silent. It's interesting. Now, I just want you to watch the same thing with us, that you did a wonderful job in terms of how you recreated this with the audio tracks going with it. Let's take a look at that now, the same scene from the same movie, Thiruda Thiruda, this time with the full audio track. When you conceptualize something like this, is it something at the script level itself that you've thought of, or is it something that you develop as you go by in your film?
I think this is something which was thought of at the earlier stages when we were doing the music for the film, when we were recording the song. At that time itself, we had discussed that we'd do something like this for the film.
You were quite daring in your approach to come through with a very sensitive subject, to bring in some aspect of Kashmir. What motivated you to take that kind of a subject, which was, which others would have been scared to handle?
I don't know whether others would have been scared to handle. They just didn't do that, that's all. It's something that's happening in India, it was happening on a regular basis. This militancy and abduction, and it's something which you see every day in the, on the newspapers, and it's a dramatic situation and you're watching it. And the plight of the people who are caught in it is something which you read about. It was just a dramatization of that real life event that was made into a film.
See you after this break.
You come from a very illustrious family. Your father was a very well-known filmmaker, and he built a massive empire and a very reputable company, Venus Pictures. Your uncle is in the film industry, and your brother is very well known in the film industry. So your whole family is very illustrious in this field. What originally sort of prompted you to get away from this? You went to Bombay. You went into professional management science, but it was brought. You were brought back into the artistic community. What went on during the transition period?
Though I'm coming from a family which has been in the film industry for quite some time, my parents were essentially in the film production and distribution. They were not involved in the film making as such in the technical side. And I had no conscious intention to get into the film industry. So my background was, I had done my management, and somewhere during the line, without my knowledge, my interest towards the industry, towards the making became stronger. So I just decided that I'll take a shot at it, look at it, see whether I'm good at it, and then decide what to do.
You're married to a very fine, pretty young lady from the Indian subcontinent, and she's not only a popular film star herself, but a very intelligent person in the industry who has done some outstanding roles in films. She's been featured in over 100 films. Suhasini. She's another household name, and I'm delighted to know that she's also directing a film right now. So tell me about your interaction.
We work on scripts together sometimes, and she helps me out with a lot of dialogues for the last two films, for Roja and for Thiruda Thiruda. She's done a lot of work on the dialogue, on the written part of the film.
The strengths of some of his films is the true naturalness of these films. In fact, a lot of artists don't even wear makeup, and yet it's very pleasantly appealing on the screen. And one of the interesting features that he has done is a remarkable piece of music. These days in Western world with MTV and all these big networks in North America, they talk about music videos. For those of you who are not familiar, the Indian subcontinent has been specializing in music video production through film for many, many years. Now here is an outstanding piece of artwork that's been done in this film. I want you to watch this, featuring some of the artists that he mentioned before from the film Roja. And here, the interesting aspect here is that he has featured some of the elderly people. They make films that is very traditional, the taboo obsession, where a rich man's son falls in love with a poor man's daughter. You have sort of deviated from those norms, and you have proven by still deviating from that you could be successful. Now, is this a trend that is created more by people like yourself and successful filmmakers such as Shan and others as well, who have done some good commercial cinema in addition to being very artistic and creative? Is this a trend that you and K. Balachandar and others have sort of introduced?
I think it is a trend that has been set by some of the good filmmakers earlier in Tamil. Sridhar was there, Balachandra was there, and Bharati Raja was there. They made enough inroads into non-conventional themes, and we are just taking advantage of their breakaways.
You directed a film which became a big super hit. That was Thalapathi, featuring Rajnikanth. Thalapathi was a very big hit, I believe. Tell me about this film.
Thalapathi? Actually, Maniratnam is my favorite director. So, அவருடைய ஃபர்ஸ்ட் பிக்சர் நான் பார்த்த உடனே கன்னடத்தில் பண்ணியிருந்தாங்க. அது பார்த்த உடனே ரொம்ப பிடிச்சது எனக்கு. அதுக்கப்புறம் அந்த மௌன கீதங்கள் அந்த ஒரு படம் பார்த்தேன். ஸோ அவர் கூட ஆக்ட் பண்ண ரொம்ப ஆசையாக இருந்தது எனக்கு. அந்த மணிரத்னம் கிட்டே நான் கேட்டிருந்தேன். இல்லை அவங்க கூட நான் யூஸ்வலாக யார்கிட்டையும் நான் கேட்டதில்லை. ரொம்ப ரேர். only 1% that is மணிரத்னம். ஸோ மணிரத்னம் சொன்னாங்க, சரி உங்களுக்கு நான் கதை செய்யணும் பிகாஸ் ரஜினிகாந்தாவே காட்டணும், கொஞ்சம் டைம் கொடுங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு ஒரு 2 சப்ஜெக்ட் சொன்னாங்க. தளபதி ஒன்று, ஸோ இன்னொன்று கம்ப்ளீட்டாக பாண்ட் டைப், கம்ப்ளீட்டாக ஆக்ஷன், அதை சொன்னாங்க. ஸோ அவங்களே சொன்னாங்க, இந்த 2 சப்ஜெக்ட் இருக்குது, உங்களுக்கு எந்த சப்ஜெக்ட் சொல்லுங்கள் பிடிக்குதுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு. ஐ செலக்ட். எனக்கு அந்த தளபதி பிடிச்சது. இன்னும் மணிரத்னம் ஆல்சோ லைக் தட் பிகாஸ் லாட் ஆஃப் சென்டிமெண்ட் வித் ஆக்ஷன். ஸோ இட் இஸ் it's a great director, actually. One of the great director, Maniratnam, I can say.
Interesting. Now, you've featured artists such as, you worked with both Rajnikanth and Kamal Hassan, for instance, Kamal Hassan, both outstanding artists. In your own work with these big stars, do you ever come across where sometimes you have to make a compromise as a director because the artists are so, sort of phenomenally popular?
When you're working with a star, when you casting somebody who's an established star and who has a very huge following, to ignore that totally and make him do something else would be, in my opinion, stupidity. I think I should be aware as a filmmaker that that man has a certain amount of following and certain amount of expectation. Keep that in your mind and make a film of your own, and to ignore it and make him do a film, take Rajnikanth and make him do a film like Roja would be ridiculous in my opinion. You don't need that kind of a person to do this kind of a film. So you have to be aware of whom you're casting and be aware that the film demands that kind of a person. So yes, there is a certain amount of balancing that you have to do, keeping when you're doing a film with a star.
I'd like to believe he's colorful. Ravan in one word is Ravan.
Most awaited film.
A life-altering experience.
Very challenging. Learning.
Unpredictable.
Giving a perspective.
Lifetime experience.
It's a love story.
It's a challenge.
Learning.
Hardi.
With 100 heads.
Exciting.
The must watch is Ravan.
What kind of subject are you going to be approaching?
Thiruda Thiruda, which was plotless adventure.
But a big success.
Run. It was just a frolic. And whereas Bombay is right the opposite. It's a very serious film. It's based on a current problem that is happening in India.
One of the films, you had this glamorous production done. It was just, just so beautifully done with this huge Mughal kind of structure, building. It looked like a palace where I think Chandrasekar, the dance was filmed. Tell me a bit about this because it was very beautifully done, by the way.
Now that location is in the heart of Madras city.
Really?
Yeah, it is a museum in Madras city. We had just extended it in front and erected a set and did a song there.
Historic. That's very interesting. Just talking about the museum in the city of Madras. Here's a little sample of of a beautiful montage from this film. Take a look at it. Where do we go from here? Mani, what can people expect from this great director, Maniratnam, in the coming years?
We'll have to wait and see.
You're very modest, No, I'm sure you must have some long-range plans.
பொன்னியின் செல்வன் மேல ஒரு பெரிய ஈர்ப்பு, பெரிய கொண்டாட்டம். இது எனக்கு மட்டும் இல்ல, நிறைய பேருக்கு கனவு ப்ராஜெக்டா இருந்திருக்கலாம்.
What are your long-range plans? Aside from making, the next film in India, what are your international plans?
I'm just looking at the international scene. I'm not too sure what my plans are. I said so far I've been making films for the audience in India and with them in mind. Maybe sometime I would move into international scene.
Mani, I wish you all the best. Good luck.
Thank you.
And we'll look forward to seeing you very, very soon again.
Thank you.